from Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
We're getting some feedback.
Hell yeah, we are.
Yeah, there it is. That's gonna get annoying. Okay, good. All right, it stopped.
We're gonna keep that shit?
Yeah, we'll keep it on.
Fuck it. All right, well.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. I am Joe.
And I'm Caleb.
And today we're going to be furthering our series of looking back into the history of Square Enix. Now we say history like it's a capital H history, but it's a lowercase history since, it's only been the last 30 years.
Right. Which is quite a while for gaming. I mean, haven't been around for that long.
So before we get to that, and before we discuss where we are in 14, do have to remind you guys to please check us out on youtube.com/ultimatefinalfantasy and subscribe there. Twitter @UFF Podcast. You can follow the show, follow Caleb, and his many escapades through verbal abuse via Twitter or...
Yeah,
or it does pop up little updates when he's streaming and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, the one earlier was pretty classic, but
okay.
We'll go over it.
You can go to facebook.com/ultimatefinalfantasy Patreon. You can support us on Patreon. We do have a new Patreon donor, so thank you very much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
$1 a month will get you the episodes early, and in fact, we are recording early this week.
Ooh, coincidence.
Because I do have a game I have to broadcast on Saturday, so I will not be able to record at our regular time. This is Thursday, so it feels a little weird.
It is weird. It's like we just barely did this, and it's because we did.
Yeah. You can also, once again, you can check us out on Twitch. You can actually check us out on Twitch, by the way.
True.
I did stream yesterday.
Yeah, no cam.
First time, yeah.
How'd you
Was
like
it my first time streaming? I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we've been there.
I've recorded games while I've played,
yeah.
but I've never streamed live before. That was a strange experience, and I felt like I had to entertain, and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, just say a bunch of messed up stuff.
Yeah, and then no one got on the chat for like an hour and a half, and I was like just sitting there alone.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. And by the way, all this can be found at ultimatefinalfantasy.com, where you can join our forums, ask questions, submit segment ideas, all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's a great place.
It is a great place. And in fact, the website will be expanded upon this month later on. Once I get out of school, I'll start doing a little bit more work on the site.
Yeah, so it's still kind of under construction, but, we'll get there.
So, where are we in Final Fantasy XIV?
Well, I have been leveling up my Arcanist, because I'm waiting for you to catch up in the story quests. So I just decided, instead of surging forward and just beating the whole game...
Despite popular demand?
Despite popular demand, yes. I have decided to chill out a bit and work on side classes. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is to further my God tier status as a Black Mage, because there's I can't remember what the ability's called, but it's like it nullifies a certain percentage of damage, and it's super useful. It's like an awesome ability when you get into the later game dungeons, and it's one of the cross-class abilities, and it's at level 34 I need to hit to receive that ability, and I'm at level 30 as of last night. Oh, and also, to toot my own horn, last night we did this 4-man raid, and it was my daily roulette, which I'm trying to do because I want to level this class up as fast as possible. You know how that goes. And I was sitting in there, and we're kind of playing just fine. We're killing everything, so it's great. I'm loving the dungeon. It's, everyone's super cooperative. We're like, yeah, let's kill it all. And all of a sudden, the white mage starts to kind of lag a bit. He's like sitting behind, not healing and stuff. And I'm
what
like,
are you saying, Troy?
And I was like, no, not mental. Well, maybe mentally too, but he's, I don't know, he was starting to lag out, and I was like, oh, I think he's AFK. And then the guy's like, no, I'm here. I can't see anything. I can only see you guys' health bars moving around.
Oh!
And I'm like, all right, well, try to disconnect and come back in, see if that helps, because his internet connection was crapping out on him. He takes off, and I've sat there for maybe 5 minutes, and then we're just sitting there waiting because there's this two-man boss fight between these flying creatures in Hauke Manor, and one of the other guys is like, well, do you have Protect? And I'm like, yeah, I've got Protect. And then like a minute later, I'm like, let's just do it. And I became the status guy with my pet Waylon, and I just kept doing my stupid Cure 1 all day.
Nice.
And we beat it. And that's the one with the evil chick at the end and like the organ playing and stuff.
Okay.
That was rough. Because there was me as the kind of healer, and then there was the tank, and then a DPS that was not ranged. So she was getting hammered.
That is kind of a rough boss fight.
Yeah, and then I'm like trying to run around, close the lanterns, and like in between that, throw a few heals up, and like those two weren't closing any of the lanterns off, so we were sitting there taking damage. Yeah, but we fought through, so it was a lot of fun, and they both recommended me. Get my commendation thing. It was a touchy-feely moment for me. But yeah, so I've just been doing that, just power grinding to get those extra abilities, and I think I'm gonna stop after I hit 34 and then just start doing story stuff again, because I'm only about 15 or so missions ahead of you. And where are you at? Where did we get to?
Well, I'm 15 missions or so behind you.
Right, so we did the first 8-man dungeon in Joe's story quest.
Yes, the level 49 dungeon there.
And I think Roxo went into it unsynced, so we dominated the thing.
That was awesome. I'm getting Dr. Roxo to be the party leader every time.
Well, the nice part about that, too, is I still get my little, I can't remember what they're called. They're like a form of currency that you can exchange for items later on in Mordana, and I still got some of those with the unsynced.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it either. So yesterday, I did promise that I would get to level 50. Or it was the day before yesterday when I promised that by Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was the day before yesterday.
I would get to level 50. And I kept that promise, despite not playing the game at all on Tuesday. And I woke up that Tuesday morning and was like, oh shit. I gave you a promise with a capital P that I would be level 50 by the time we started playing on Wednesday. So I skipped class.
Oh, wow.
And played Final Fantasy XIV. It took 3 whole dungeons. I just did, not Totorak, but the, what's the one with the dragon and he's moving around, there's poison everywhere?
I can't remember the names.
I can't remember the name either, but the jungle-y sort of place. It's kind of a short dungeon, but it does give you a lot of experience. I did that one 3 times in a row.
Wow.
Now, the first time, there was something weird going on with the tank. Okay? The tank was not communicating with anyone, and I don't really talk to anybody on the game anyway, just because the PS4 chat is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, plus you don't have a USB keyboard, so...
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he wouldn't talk to anybody, and he would, like, aggro the first guy he came across, but then he wasn't really doing anything past that, and so everybody was getting aggroed, because the tank was not really doing their job correctly. They were just kind of going in and doing their thing.
Right.
And there was some criticism from the people on the team, admittedly. I don't think mean criticism, by the way. Just kind of like, hey, could you possibly, make sure you pull all the aggro and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was also having trouble healing all these people, since if more than one person gets aggroed, it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And so, like, the tank's job, I think, is a harder job than the white mage's job, honestly. Despite the fact that I'm a white mage, I believe that wholeheartedly. The tank's job is the most important job on the team as far as strategy goes. Now, the tank didn't say anything, and then we got to this one boss fight where it was, like, really difficult, and then we barely made it past that. One of the guys died, and then they started trying to talk to the tank guy. The tank guy wasn't responding.
Oh, boy.
And then the tank guy started running around, just kind of in this one path area, randomly. Like, it wasn't like, hey, I'm waiting around, I'm playing around kind of a run. It was like weird, jagged runs from, like, different parts of this small area.
Do you think he was lagging out?
So, I think he was a bot.
Really?
Yeah, just because I think it was trying to get to the next spot of the map, and it had, like, nudged out of its path.
Oh. I didn't even know that existed in the
I
game.
think the thing was a bot, and someone else brought it up in the group thing. It's like, that makes total sense. The thing's totally a freaking bot. It's not doing its job. Like, it's barely doing its job at all. It's running around kind of weird. Like,
I think Steve got accused of being a bot one time.
well,
so I
getting
guess if they do
accused of being a
exist-
bot, but like, I mean, if it wasn't a bot, it should have said, "Hey, I'm not a bot." When we were like, "Okay, I think we're gonna have to boot him," and then we booted him right at the end, right before the last boss, and then we got a new guy in that just came up, ran up, cast protect on him. We went in and we killed the boss in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it was all the tank's fault. that seems to be just the general mantra of the last few weeks. Like, it's the tank's fault.
Yeah.
The
You've been
tank
getting
sucks.
screwed over by the tanks.
Yeah, I've been getting screwed over by a lot of tanks recently.
Well, it sucks because I got screwed over by the white mage, but we were a great team. Like, we were leveling this thing, and then he DC'd because we told him to, but you know he had to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, we got to the what are you, like the tail end of the level 49 quests? for
Yeah, that's
2.0.
what I'm in.
And pretty soon you'll get to the final dungeon. I think you have a couple more quests.
The
and
final,
then-
in quotes.
Yeah, and then the last 2 dungeons that are
Okay.
8-man.
Hey, what say me and you record a review episode for 14 on our own, just like we did with 11? And then we bring in people for 2.55, just like we did with 11.
That's a possibility, I guess.
Okay, we'll talk about it after the show, but I guess that's a possibility.
That is kind of what we did before, so it would
That
be,
is exactly what we did before.
it would be right to do that. And we played, a proportionate amount over with 11. as we
And
were
there's
with
still
14.
like 90 quests or something.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of work left. It's going to be a little bit.
So maybe we should split it up like that.
That might be good.
Do a 4-parter.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay. So if you've been playing with us on Final Fantasy XIV, stay tuned. We'll give you an email and try to figure out a time.
Right, or just on the Twitch chat, I've let everyone else know that, hey, this is what we did last time, this is what we're going to do again.
Okay.
If they didn't already know, which most of them did, so.
All right. So, yeah, we're excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. This game's a long one.
Oh, another thing that happened with the tank. Shit. Oh, man. There was a tank who all he would do was stop. Like, we would kill 3 guys. He would stop. He would type a shitload of shit. No, I'm telling you, man. He would... He'd be like, nah, you better, like, do this, and nah, why didn't you use tier 2? Nah.
Oh, yeah.
But he wouldn't go 5 steps without fucking stopping and then doing the text chat. And it's like, it's the fucking daily roulette. Let's get this over with, please. God!
Yeah, that's the weird part about those.
So,
when people are
1,000
jumping in.
Miles of Toto Rack should not be a 1-hour dungeon, and it was made into a 1-hour dungeon by this motherfucker who wouldn't move. That happened to me on Monday. So, yeah, I just wanted to, like, say to all my tanks out there, shut up and do your job.
Yeah, I don't spend much time chatting, unless it's, I don't know, like a Gratz or,
He must have been on PS4, because,
I don't
like,
know.
who would chat that slow? He would, like, fucking stop.
That's the thing, is if I were on
Stop dead.
pure PS4 without the USB thing, I would rarely talk. I would just communicate via, like, emoticons and shit. I would use that, like the Harvest Dance or something fucking like
Oh, yeah. Press the
celebrate.
emote thing. The emote menu is fun.
That's all I do if I didn't have a USB keyboard. I wouldn't fuck with the
Piss
chat.
me the fuck off.
Well,
Piss me off. Alright. Now that I'm pissed off, let's talk about the news, shall we?
yeah, we got a little bit of that. News.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Alright, so we have a few pieces of news here.
Peeps of news.
Peeps of news, yes. I know we said we weren't going to talk about mobile, and we won't, actually. Screw it. So, Square Enix
We haven't actually said that to anyone else, just me and
has
you.
announced. Oh, well.
We
yeah,
haven't announced on the show.
Not going to cover. Well, we're not going to cover little mobile news. If it's something huge, like a new announcement, we'll touch it. But if it's just updates, we won't mess with it anymore.
Okay, alright, let me clarify this. To all the people who give us news, Shinru, Crinital, etc., I know there's a few people out there that give us news.
Yeah.
thank you very much for all the news you've been giving us. Really, it has been helpful.
Oh yeah, it's great.
However, we are getting... There is just too much mobile news for us to be able to handle. There's just too much. So, when it comes to mobile games, we will only cover the game if it's like an announcement of a new game or that a new game is coming out this week or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be something big. Like
Yeah, it's got to be
big thing.
Yeah, so like a new Record Keeper event, not gonna worry about it. I understand that there's those out there who play Record Keeper, but I feel like they would know
Yeah, they
if
probably
there was a
would.
new Record Keeper event.
They probably would. But
So-
one thing they wouldn't know, unless they looked it up, was the Jump Fiesta 2016 lineup.
Jump Festa?
Jump Festa. Yeah, sorry, not
Okay.
Fiesta.
Is this the Square Enix lineup?
This is
for
the Square Enix lineup.
What's the lineup for Jump Festa
All right,
this
so
year?
right now we've got Dragon Quest Builders, and this is for next year, 2016.
Which is going to be a playable trailer. Okay, playable trailer, and it's going to have a stage thing.
Right,
Okay.
and then we have Dragon Quest Monsters, Battle Scanner, which is arcade, which will have a trailer, and you'll be able to play it on the stage.
Wow, what's up with all these Dragon Quest things?
Maybe they're
Dragon
feeling
Quest Monsters Joker 3 on the 3DS.
also playable.
Dragon Quest of the Stars
iOS,
on
Android.
iOS and Android.
Ooh, a Final Fantasy.
Hey, there we go.
Brave-
Final Fantasy news. Look
Brave
at that.
Exvius will have a new trailer, and that's going to be iOS and Android.
Okay.
Aikini to Yuki no Setsuna, a PS4 PlayStation Vita game. Why
I
are they
wonder what
putting
the
it on
English
Vita?
title is going to be for that.
And then Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
Wait, what
PS4.
is that?
I have no idea. I guess it's a new thing.
It's a new... Yeah, obviously it's
Obviously
a new
it's
thing.
new, yeah, but I didn't... is this really the announcement? I mean, maybe we talked about it
Might be.
before, and we're just...
Star Ocean, Integrity, and Faithlessness.
Faithlessness, huh?
PS4,
PS4, PS3.
And, of course, another World of Final Fantasy.
Right. And, yeah.
And then there's a whole schedule online you can look at, but, what's the point of that unless you're
Unless you're going to watch.
there?
Right.
Um,
So we got another thing here. This is kind of cool. I was really excited about this until I found out the truth of it. So Final Fantasy XIV is getting festive with some new optional items. New items are available. A White Devil mount, which is a awesome white and gold trimmed sort of, what is that? The fucking...
Magitech armor?
Magitech armor, yeah. It's got like pink wings, and it looks really cool. It looks nice and festive. And then you've got a Red Baron Magitech armor, which looks awesome.
I
Lots
think
of
I like
red
the white one better.
and gold.
It's cool.
And then you've got these Sugarloaf hats.
Starlight attire that looks...
Yeah, that looks weird.
Yeah,
And then you have a new minion. His name is Hori the Snowman.
H-O-A-R-Y.
Yes, he does not
Not
put out.
W-H.
But these are... I'm not sure how much they cost, but they do cost.
What, do they cost gil or do they cost money?
I think you can buy them on the market, but they cost money initially, I believe. So I'm not going to get them. I was hoping it was going to be another quest like the
Damn
Halloween
you, Square.
thing.
We're already paying $12.99. Come on.
Right, and I wish I would have pulled up a price for it, but it is something you have to pay for in addition. So take that as you will.
Okay, do the other one first.
So this is really cool. Final Fantasy VII's PS4 trophies have been leaked.
Wow.
There's going to be 32, and this is the rehash for not the redo. It's the port. The port. Sorry.
The port for PS4.
Right. So it's not the remake. And it's going to have 32 trophies, including a platinum.
Ooh.
And
Okay, we gotta go through these.
all right, so the platinum is called Gaia's Guardian, which is obviously obtain all trophies.
Okay.
First Blood, emerge victorious from your first battle.
That's gonna be easy.
Breaking new ground, use a limit break.
Okay.
Consummate cross-dresser, get done
Consummate
Corneo
cross-dresser.
to choose Cloud over the two females.
Oh.
That's cool.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah. It was like the first time I played it though.
Okay.
Fledgling Summoner, use a summon materia in battle.
Okay.
Materia Mastermind, raise a materia to level 5.
That's
Easy.
depends on the materia.
All will get mastered.
Yeah.
Best Bromance, go on a date with Barrett in the Gold Saucer. Choco Champion, win the Chocobo Racing minigame.
Okay.
Corel's Angel, score 10,050 points or more in G-Bike at the Gold Saucer. I don't know how difficult that is.
I don't know either.
Shuriken, join us. Have Yuffie join your party. Won't you
Okay.
be my Valentine? Vincent joins. Making waves. Obtain the Leviathan materia. We'll go into that.
Okay.
Waiting in the wings. Obtain the Bahamut materia. Failure is an option. Have your whole party fall in battle. I assume that means
Okay.
you lose
As in
at
die?
the end.
Or just like fall off a cliff.
I don't know. And then we got some silver ones coming up, all 9s. Obtain 99,999,999 gil. That's sick. Okay.
That's a silver?
Yes.
How?
Liege of leveling, I have no idea. Well, you can sell mastered alls for a lot of gil.
Okay.
Reach level 99 with one
Oh,
character.
That should be a gold trophy.
That is one that you would think.
Why is that silver? Why is that one silver? Why is reaching level 99 a silver trophy?
That's not that hard. You just get the level, the XP boost materia and
Whatever.
go for it. Alright, so Bahamut type 0 is obtained Bahamut 0 materia.
See, that one's actually an easy one.
That one
was
is.
far easier than the other two. That should be
Round
a
table
bronze.
destruction, obtain Knights of the Round. That should be a gold, I think.
Okay.
The slash to end all slashes, learn Omni Slash, which we know is his final. Loose Cannon, learn Catastrophe, Barrett's final limit break. Packing a Punch, learn Final Heaven, which is Tifa's.
Oh, you have to get all their limit breaks?
Yeah, I'm not going to read them all, but it's get each of their last limit breaks for each of the characters.
Wheel of Fortune learns slots.
Yes.
Oh, whose is that one?
The slots? That's Kate
Oh,
Sith.
that's Kate Sith.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's got a slot minion.
Yeah, obviously I've never used Kate Sith.
I used him. He's a pretty good tank, but I didn't use him last time. All right, now the gold trophies, the
Okay.
goodies.
Okay, this first gold trophy is easier than doing most of those silver trophies.
Right, but this one, you got to get a good reward for completing the game.
Come on.
So that's the first gold trophy. Then you have Transcendent Convoker. Obtain the Master Summon materia. Okay.
Okay.
Diamond Disintegrator. Defeat the Diamond Weapon. Ruby Render. Defeat the Ruby Weapon.
Don't you defeat the
and-
diamond? Wait, was the diamond one the one that's flying around?
No.
No, that's Ultima.
Oh, that's Ultima?
Yeah, Diamond you have to beat. So you'll get a gold trophy. You'll get two
You
gold
have
trophies.
to beat diamond.
You'll get 2 gold trophies for beating the game. And then Emerald Eviscerator is defeat the Emerald
How come
Weapon.
Ultima Weapon's not one of the trophies?
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
that's
it
for
silver?
Cloud's. That's for Cloud's. Oh no, never mind.
Oh, is it for someone else's thing?
No, it's for his final weapon. Sorry, I was mixing it up with the limit
Okay.
breaks. No, it's not. That's weird.
That's so weird.
That you'd have to. I don't know. Maybe they just want to give you a reward right before you beat it.
So let me ask you, Schweiss. They haven't yet they haven't yet put a release date out for the PS4 version of the PS1 version of Final Fantasy VII. But when the game comes out, what are you gonna do, Schweiss? I know you're kind of a trophy whore. What are you gonna do?
Well,
You gonna suck that trophy cock
I probably will. I'll probably swallow when it finishes. Too.
outside of game time
Yeah, I don't know when,
for
but
Ultima?
no, I should have time. I'm playing the Walking Dead game right now. I'll just replace that with this.
Okay.
And then hopefully they don't come out with 12 HD remaster around the same time, or I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, if they're ever actually gonna do that.
Yeah, if it ever happens.
Yeah, I hope it does. I
But-
really hope it does.
know.
Gosh, they should do that for all the Final Fantasies.
I know,
all
they're-
the
especially 9 and 12.
like
Those are tough to get a
literally
hold of.
all the Final Fantasies. I think.
Yeah, you were telling me the other day that you think they should port every single one every time a new console comes out.
Why the fuck not? They'd sell them for $10 each. Like how? I don't actually know this, and I would like to know from maybe a game developer out there who listens to our show or something like that. How difficult is it to port a game that was coded in BASIC from, like, how difficult is it to port that to the PS4?
I don't know. But I guess it's not that tough because they're...
If they're porting it on the Android, they're porting it on the computer. I don't see how the PSN would be that much more difficult.
I don't know. And that'd be a great way to play some of those older games that are tough to
It
play.
would be, and people would just they'd get the new system, they'd buy all the other Final Fantasies.
They would, yeah.
There you go.
There's
There's $120 for you.
people that are
Okay.
starting with, say, 14 or 15. They'll pick up the other ones if they really enjoy that game. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be a worthwhile cause, but we'll see what happens. So, speaking of 15, apparently
Cat's shitting.
Final Fantasy 15. Shut up.
Oh,
currently
man.
playable.
Fuck. Okay, so
From
Caleb...
start to finish.
We have... Okay, hold on a second. Before we talk about Final Fantasy 15, I have to talk about this fucking cat right now.
Okay.
Caleb's cat has a bad habit of pissing in the corner...
In the podcast corner.
About 2 feet... Well, where I used to sit, actually. Where I used to sit.
Oh, it just hit me.
When we just hit you, I'm glad I was the wall that had to get it first.
Ah! Bury that shit!
He used to piss where I used to sit. And so, like, every time I would come to record a podcast, I'd be like, it smells like urine. He's like, yeah, he pissed again. And, like, Caleb had this pet stuff, and he tried to, like, clean it out, like...
Yeah, and it's supposed
really
to
hard.
get rid of the scent so they don't pee there again, but it didn't work. So I had to put the litter box there, and he just let one go, just some monstrosity, and it smells horrible.
Hold on, we gotta back it up a little bit. You didn't just put the litter box there.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were refusing to put the litter box there.
Because it's uncivil to have it in the living room.
Yes, it is uncivil to have the cat litter box, an open litter box, in the middle of the living room because it's, you know, disgusting.
Right.
You used to have the litter box upstairs, and so it was like, well, maybe the cat doesn't want to travel that far, and you know, there's sites online that say the cat should have one per floor, right?
Yeah.
One litter box per floor, and you were like, fuck that.
Yeah, I'll just get it downstairs where he's letting it loose.
Yeah, so we put it in the bathroom down here. I say we as if
as if you were a part of this thing.
I complained enough. We put it in the bathroom down here, and the whole thing was like to keep the door cracked open. But then I think the door was shut
a couple times,
and so the cat eventually did piss outside, back into his favorite corner.
Yep.
And so then the habit was brought back in, I guess, because even later on you found that even though the door was open, he would do that.
Right, he still would.
And so now we have the cat litter box where I used to sit, and now we're over like 4 feet, and the cat just shat, and it stinks so fucking bad right now.
So yeah, that's the backstory as to the horror that crept up our noses just now. So. Oh, jeez, dude.
Your cat's never shat in the middle of our episode.
I don't know. He hasn't. That's a first.
I feel like this is like not a sanitary place to do podcast recording.
You think so?
Yeah, my mouth is on this mic, and I don't know. Maybe when you were cleaning one day, you maybe the mic fell off the table and landed in the litter box, and you were like, you picked it up and brushed it off, and like Joe will never notice. Then you kept going on your way.
I would probably do that to you, but it hasn't happened, so it's cool.
Well,
it's cool.
I'm glad that you claim that it hasn't happened. Okay, what's Final Fantasy 15's news?
Well, it is now currently playable from start to finish. So development on Final Fantasy 15 has finished pre-beta, according to a programmer named Kitade.
Pre-beta. We just call that alpha here, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. This means two things. One, the game is playable from start to finish, and two, the first half of the game is finished with the quality of a final product. So they are halfway done with the first, or they're fully done with the first half. So 50%.
I'm sure they're still going through like bugs and stuff.
Right, so essentially they're saying that they're at the point where they can play from the beginning to the end. They can get an overall view of the game.
They're polishing, okay.
Right, the first half of the game is finished completely, they say, with the quality of the final product. So I assume the battle system's all figured out, the graphics are figured out, the frame rate issues, done. Everything's done, unless they need to change it later.
I still say March of 2017.
And, I still say holiday 2016.
I say holiday 2016 in Japan. That's what I say.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the same thing and say worldwide. But yeah, so I guess the game is playable from start to finish.
Woohoo!
So we'll have to see if we get another chunk of story. I would assume we will continue with the second demo that comes out. Hopefully it'll continue where the first one ended, and we'll get to play around with the car. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that. So, yeah, that's cool.
What game do you think we'll be on by the time we get there? By the time 15 comes out? Assuming it's holiday.
Even. So a year from now?
So 12 games.
We'll probably be on
13 Trilogy, or?
Yeah, we'll be on the 13 Trilogy easy, I think. If it does come out the end of next year, we'll be probably playing 13 3 maybe, or Lightning Returns, maybe 13.2. It depends on how long some of these other ones that I might be shortchanging are going to take us, but I think we'll be around the 13s.
Okay. I'm kind of excited to move on.
From 14?
From just the main series.
Oh,
just
I was like, dude, 14's great.
Explore new ground.
But yeah, so am I. Well, it's kind of new ground for me, I guess, but for you, it's all new.
Neither of us have played After Years.
Right, but I've played the 7 ones that we're going to play.
We're going to come to a point soon here where it's like we have no experience with the game previously. None.
13.2. That's the first one. Or the 11 stuff. I've played 10.2 for like an hour.
4 After Years. I haven't played the 7 sequel.
That is kind of.
I've never played the sequel to FF12.
That is kind of weird to think about, actually. All these other things we've at least played, if not completed before, and now it's just.
Now it's starting to inch away from our familiarity.
Yeah, we're gonna get scared. Who knows what'll happen then?
All right, Schweiss. Now, I think it's time to talk about the history of Square Enix a little bit.
Oh yeah, let's get into that. But first, we will address the Twitch.
4 people on Twitch, yeah!
You who know we are here.
Oh, 3 people. Nice further.
G430. I'm not sure what that is, my friend.
Caleb, you could be a
Choco champion?
A Choco champion? Wow, I saw a Coke from over here.
Yeah.
I feel retarded. Could be worse. I got peed on by a 2-year-old last night.
2.8 is just dream drop.
Still not cat shit.
Do you have the laser or something, Caleb? He is tripping.
I know. I noticed that when he went from there to there in like a second. You know what, Caleb? I'm gonna give you the laser.
Yeah, I gotta get this.
Keep him occupied.
Hey, Roxo, we're recording early. I told Joe to fucking say something on the forum, but he didn't. So.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the FF14 shit.
No.
Oh, you were talking about...
Hey, Emily. No, yeah, I was telling you to announce that we were going to record like 4 days early.
I forgot. If that was in fact what you said.
It's 2 days early.
I might have thought that you were talking about the FF14 stuff.
No. I was talking about that a lot too, though. The 14 stuff. Bitching about that.
Fucking cat. Taking my recording space.
Yeah, dude, it's annoying. And now we have to be all buddy-buddy and shit.
I know.
It's fucking packed in here.
Oh, I need a haircut. And we need to shave our beards.
Yeah, we fucking...
I know, it's adding a lot of warmth to the frigid air.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's great, but I want to know.
It's good extra windbreaker on the face.
That is for damn sure. Where's your thing? Where's your tab?
It was, there. Right there.
You know what?
I want the mouse, though. Give me the mouse. Give me the fucking...
Ah, but I can't drop. No, I guess I could still drop. I can just force the mouse away from you. Alright, let's get into this.
Alright,
so... Teach me about the history of Square Enix. Once again, I will be the apprentice. You'll be the master. Yeah. Bro, big bro.
The history of Square Enix... No. Sorry. Part 4. The golden age of the 2D RPG.
Oh.
Now, you could say the golden age of the RPG, and it is kind of dumb to place the word golden age so quickly, you know, like it wasn't that long ago, and we're willing to put the word golden age on things. We tend to do that a lot, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
true. In fact,
true.
there's a mini-sode somewhere on here that says Nude Clan on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere where we had a whole discussion upon whether or not we should use the word classic for games that are only 10 years old. And I was vehemently against using the word classic if it is not at least, and I put the arbitrary number because it's a generation. If it's not at least 20 years old, I don't believe you should call anything classic.
Right.
Because even though like some movie or game could be a hit right now, like a big hit, you could forget it in 2 weeks.
That's true.
And a classic stays with you. And so you must have time pass in order for a classic to stay with you. But Dylan was against me on that.
Right, he was. I was with you because, I mean, I can say you can tell that a game might be a classic after about 4 or 5 years. It's like if it's still relevant, if it's still in the zeitgeist, if it's still really good, it's probably going to be a classic. You can just call it a really great game, but God of War 3 isn't a classic. It's a good game. Like I don't know why it's such a big deal. But you're going to put the Golden Age. Now, I think the Golden Age...
I'm going to call it the Golden Age of the 2D,
the 2D
RPG. But in 100 years from now, maybe there's another Golden Age of 2D RPGs.
I feel like that's a bullshit statement, but we never know. Maybe they'll be like, you know what would be better?
And maybe we throw the word Golden Age out way too much. Maybe that's it.
Perhaps. I don't know.
I have...
But you just fucking did it,
I just did it, okay.
Prove your case.
Last time we ended in 1992 when Dragon Quest V had its major release, and Final Fantasy V also had its major release, both in 1992. So Enix could have floated on Dragon Quest V's mega release for the next 10 years, but they were well on their way with publishing multiple IPs for the rest of the early 90s, although it wasn't without a few setbacks.
Ooh, setbacks.
So we got a couple here. Enix released the game The Seventh Saga in 1992, which had both mediocre reviews as well as middling sales, and King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, which when I was looking all this stuff up, I was like, this game looks awesome, just by like how it looked on the screenshots and like the name. I was like, this is sweet, and apparently it's a hunk of junk. Like, it is a horribly reviewed game.
Wow.
So
the name is kind of stupid, but
well.
King Arthur and the Knights of Justice.
King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, just think 2D Super NES game, awesome. Okay?
2D.
That's what I thought.
Once and Future King.
Apparently it's based upon some cartoon, which I didn't know about. And also, like, both these companies, both Square and Enix, they were both releasing a couple other little middling games that I chose to leave out that were based upon manga or stuff like that.
Oh. Yeah.
But in 1993, Enix released EVO, Search for Eden, which is a prehistoric RPG filled with dinosaurs.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And unfortunately, it had similar results as the Seventh Saga in terms of sales.
God damn it.
Square, however, was sort of on top of the world. I mean, they never had quite the success of Dragon Quest V, but they were doing really well. Secret of Mana in 1992 would go on to sell 1.83 million copies worldwide, so that was a major success. It was praised for its gameplay, music, and graphics, and would later be called one of the high points of the 16-bit era by Edge magazine, as well as one of the greatest games of all time by Famitsu, Nintendo Power, and IGN.
Oh, okay. The other two, yeah.
What do you have against Famitsu?
I don't know,
Their polls are reader polls,
so they Final Fantasy.
They're the people who believe that classics should be regarded to games that are 3 years old.
Not that
1
Final
month
Fantasy
old. Hell,
isn't a fantastic series. It's just when you have like a top 10 list and like 4, 5, maybe even more of them or one series, that's rough of all time. That's a little far. There's a lot of good games out there, but all right, I'll suspend that for now.
And although not nearly as well regarded as the previous game, Square released Romantic Saga 2 to similar commercial results. And these games, I believe, would kick off the golden age of the two-dimensional JRPG.
All right.
Enix, in this era, released a slew of games from 93 to 95, mostly in Japan, due to the middling sales of Dragon Quest here in the West. One of those was a puzzle-filled action RPG called Brainlord, which was well-received, though didn't exactly set the world on fire. Robotech would follow. By the way, these are mostly sci-fi games, so like Enix, from what I'm looking at here, Enix was mostly making like the sci-fi RPGs, although Square had a couple.
Yeah.
And Square Enix was kind of making the Final Fantasy, although admittedly they had a couple sci-fi also. But that's just kind of how it seemed to me. Robotech would follow, which is a sci-fi precursor to Pokemon, almost, in a sci-fi universe that unfortunately tanked on release. But I got to tell you about this Robotech thing. It's, I think, from the description I was looking at earlier, it's like you had robots that you had to like train, and like you would fight the robots in like this sci-fi. So it was kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah, you would. So you would train your robot to fight other robots. Oh wow, that's like the same thing. Almost.
That's what it seemed like to me. I mean, someone might know more about the game, but still, it was kind of like cool.
Oh, that does sound interesting.
All I'm doing when I was writing this thing, I was like, oh, these are all games that I kind of want to get into. Like, they all sound awesome, but I can't play them right now because
Yeah, we're a little busy.
so much Final Fantasy. All right. There's a game called Terranigma, which told the story of a boy named Ark trying to resurrect Earth, which would later be hailed as a forgotten classic, but went nowhere near Square's sales at the time at 200,000 copies. There's also an Enix game, an RPG simulator / war game called Ogre Battle. Does that sound familiar to you?
That sounds really familiar.
Okay. Which is one of Enix's most important games. This was released to rave reviews and would set the stage for its more famous sequel, Tactics Ogre. See, that's what sounds familiar, isn't it?
Yeah,
little is known about Enix's game. Sorry about the pronunciation of this. Jute Senki, except that it was only ever released in Japan, and that it was another science fiction RPG game.
They love it.
Mystic Arc was another little known RPG game put out by Enix, although that game, Mystic Arc, was successful enough to spawn a PlayStation sequel in '99. The biggest game of 1995, sorry Square Enix, or sorry Squaresoft.
Squaresoft, yeah.
Enix is doing just fine.
Right.
This was, of course, Dragon Quest VI. So all of Square games, I mean, with few exceptions, they were all doing. I think they had one bomb during the whole run, this whole Super NES run.
Okay.
From 1992 onwards, Square anyway, and we'll get into what those games are. But Enix seemed to have games that were kind of doing okay, but then the Dragon Quest games really dominated. And then the Square games, they were all kind of hits, so but yet not as big a hits as the Dragon Quest.
So they're kind of
games,
neck and neck in a way.
So yeah, neck and neck in a certain different way. That game, Dragon Quest VI, it sold. This is a Super NES game. It sold a whopping 3.2 million copies, only in Japan.
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't released in North America, I think, until 2011 or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah. So by this time, Enix had given up on selling games outside of Japan, and before 1996's game Star Ocean was released, which obviously we have a new one on the horizon based on the news, they had closed their offices in North America. So they actually had offices, and they weren't putting out any games for them. Like, a couple of those games that we read were released in the U.S., but most of them are not.
Yeah, their presence is not as great over here.
Yeah. So Star Ocean did all right for itself, selling about as much as Terranigma did before it. But as with a couple of these games, it's now looked upon as a forgotten gem in the West, almost, like all these early Enix games. Nintendo Life eventually praised it as one of the best-looking games on the Super Nintendo, though, Star Ocean. In contrast, Square Enix was doing quite well in North America, while still doing good business in Japan. For Square, almost everything they touched turned to gold. In 1994, Square would release one of its most well-known RPG classics, Breath of Fire. We've all heard of Breath of Fire, I believe.
Yes.
To good reviews and financial success. But that was nothing compared to Final Fantasy VI, now seen as one of the greatest games of all time, and my number one Final Fantasy game, and it's going to stay that way. Sorry, Final Fantasy XIV. One of the greatest games of all time by most sources. Think about all the top 100 lists you see by different gaming publications. They're worth their salt because Final Fantasy VI is always up there.
It's true, it is.
Eventually, although not directly on release, Final Fantasy VI would sell almost 4 million copies worldwide. Mm-hmm. And just to reiterate, Final Fantasy VI is fucking awesome. Last in 94, the forgotten game Live Alive, or Live a Live, I'm not sure how to say it, would also be followed by another big success in early 95, Front Mission, which is a sci-fi tactical RPG game, which would sell 500,000 copies in the first week of release. So, even though Live a Live didn't really do well, the Front Mission, which came out like 3 months afterwards, just did amazing. That same year, 1995, we would see what some have called the greatest RPG game of all time. And, of course, it it's up there with Final Fantasy VI on all of these lists.
It.
And we will be playing it eventually, although not directly afterwards. Chrono Trigger.
Oh, yes.
Which I've never played. I've just heard it's awesome, and I'm really excited to play it.
Yeah, me too.
A groundbreaking, although, once again, I haven't played it, so I think, according to all these sources, RPG praised for its gameplay and non-linear story filled with optional endings that have kept people coming back to the game over and over for the last 20 years. So Square would round out 95 with hits that included the third Mana game, Secrets of Evermore, and the Romancing Saga 3. So Square was on a roll. Kazushige Nojima would direct a game called Bahamut Lagoon in 1996, and they'd follow that up with the famous and well-regarded Super Mario RPG. Look at this run that Square has had here. Now this is, I think, more like Enix in the NES era. I think they can't really be, like Square couldn't really compete with Enix in the NES era. They couldn't. Just with their slew of Dragon Quest games that were all extremely popular. And although Enix did have Dragon Quest V and Dragon Quest VI during the Super NES era, Square was releasing hit after hit after hit after hit. This is where Square is like really shining right now, and I think it continues into the PlayStation era.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So by the end of 1996, Square was setting its sights on the third dimension, and its last two games on the Super NES, Treasure of the Rudras and Treasure Hunter G, would be overshadowed by the new consoles that were gaining some steam. So they had to shove those games out right at the end.
Yeah.
Sony's PlayStation, which I believe they released in late '94, and it was slowly picking up steam, and of course the Nintendo 64.
Yeah. Wow. And that will spawn a rage, an outcry from Nintendo.
So, like, the drama over switching companies, like consoles.
Which, I will say this before we even get into that. That's coming up
soon.
They can suck it the fuck up, because if they don't want to move on and advance in technology just so they can have a monopoly over all of their fucking games, they're going to get left behind by third-party developers. That's the end of it. That's what's going to fucking happen every time, and it's happening now with the Wii, every fucking console. Wii U, Wii U,
oh,
Wii,
wait, Wii U's a thing? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's the same thing, though. No one wants to release a game that isn't super high-def nowadays because we have the technology. People want to play with it.
We have the technology.
So Nintendo, I don't know, they almost alienate the third party in a lot of ways, which is great for their business model. But when they turn around and get all butthurt that, Square left us. Yeah, because they want to move on. They want to get better.
Well,
and not just chill.
Because I remember, and we'll definitely get into this in the next part of the history of Square Enix, which will probably be in like a month or two.
Yeah.
So be excited. Please be excited.
Yeah, these are fun.
It had to do with the cartridge size.
The space, yeah. They couldn't fit 7 on a cartridge.
They spent, $123 million or something like that? Or $170 million on Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
So their profit margin would be much less if they had that huge cartridge that they had to sell. And so, you know what? It was a smart financial decision. Obviously, they saved they didn't save the PlayStation necessarily, but they definitely made the PlayStation. Because besides Gran Turismo, I think Final Fantasy VII is like the biggest game on the PlayStation.
It is, but the PlayStation sold a lot of copies. I don't know. I don't know if it's saved it necessarily, but it is one of the top-selling games.
We'll see. I'm wondering how PlayStation sales kind of were with the advent of different games.
That was their first console, and it... Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see how it was before FF7, I guess, and see how it was after. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to find out.
Despite the fact that at the time, actually, Nintendo did have better graphics.
Yeah, they do. They did. Yeah, they did. The 64 looks a little bit better.
Their hardware was a lot better back then. But, of course... And they kept with that until the Wii.
Yeah, the GameCube looks amazing, surprisingly.
The GameCube is...
It doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever.
Technically better than the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, and then... Yeah, but the Wii is just like...
But that PS2, man, that PS2
a very popular system, though.
That GameCube. It's like the most top-selling console of all time by a good amount. The only thing that's catching up is the DS, which is bullshit because all of the DSs count. So like the
What?
2DS, the 3DS, those are all counting. The DS.
That's bullshit.
It pisses me off. They're gonna overcome PS2 because they're stacking.
The 3DS along with the DS. They came
It
out
doesn't
with 3DS.
count.
Someone's yelling in the background. We can't hear him on the show.
Yeah, but he's defending it, I'm sure, but he's wrong.
By the way, Caleb Craig is here. Say hi.
What's up?
There you go for you Caleb Craig fans out there.
Yeah, they
The one guy.
the one guy.
The one guy.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, not that DS is bad, and it deserves its props. It's definitely the best handheld by far.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them counting towards one, that'd be like counting PS1 through 4 in one bundle and being like, look at that, look how many we've got. I don't know. Whatever. It's petty, and I don't work for either company, so I don't see why it matters. But it just,
Well, you just pick your team. You
I
pick
do.
your sports team.
I
and
picked
that's-
Sony, and that's
you know what? I was defending my. We're gonna talk about our first video games here in a second, so maybe we'll talk about this a little bit more then. But I was so Xbox,
you.
so Xbox, and Final Fantasy, it changed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did having money actually. So.
So it wasn't just hey, I happen to have. an
Now I
Xbox.
say I don't actually have money, but compared to me in high school, I definitely have money now.
Oh yeah.
Back then, it was like $20. Yes.
That's true. I wish it was as exciting now.
All right. Well, shall we? I know we have a spot the FF, don't we?
We do.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna give this to you, the mouse, and you may press the jingle, the jingle jangle if you can find it.
Huh, you'll allow me to press it, huh?
Yeah.
If I can
Oh,
find
it's
it,
number
though.
5 though.
All right. Yeah. It's been a long time.
All right. So who gave us this spot the FF? Oh, you. Well,
You
why should I
minimized
exit
it
out of that?
before.
Sorry. Click on the thing. All right, technical problems. Sorry.
All right, this one is from.
That is a question.
It is.
Yeah. Terminal Lance. There you go.
Ooh,
This
I
is
haven't
from
seen this guy.
W.J. Lowry.
Sounds familiar, but I don't remember anything.
That's who gave us the link here.
Well, obviously it's familiar here.
This is a webcomic, apparently. Now,
Ooh.
Final Fantasy is put out by a lot of webcomics, but this one's an interesting one. This is put out by a U.S. Marine named Maximilian Rate. Might be pronouncing your name wrong, Maximilian, but you probably don't listen to this show.
There's a small chance.
Might be a little bit you had to be there kind of humor, but I think any Final Fantasy fan can appreciate it. You want to click on that link and we'll...
All right, let's look at it.
So this is from terminallance.com in 2010. So if you want to go on his blog, you can check it out. It's number 25. Deployments are just like Final Fantasy games. You want to read the description there?
I'm gonna have to get super close. You get put on bases, just like small villages. There's an item shop that sells potions and gear, i.e. Rippets and Spec Ops merchandise. And then it's got a picture of a guy named Max, who's level 63. He's got 22, 36
Level
HP.
E3. Level E3.
E3.
Yeah, the government pay rates.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
So he's E3, and his buddy here, Kyle,
He's
is
E4. He just leveled up.
Just leveled up.
You gain levels and experience through combat, and as you get more experience, you upgrade your gear and weapons. And then they have a picture of like the Taliban, and,
Oh, wow.
then in the background, then the army guys in the foreground with the little the battle menu that says
Right.
attack, aim, airstrike, and the things over attack. And when you leave the wire, you get into some random encounters.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's a pretty awesome one. And Maximilian talks below about, not sure if he should have done this comic just because it's, only some people
Yeah,
would
the-
understand what's going on. But I appreciate it. I thought it's a pretty cool comic and made me smile.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's Oh, I never thought of it that way, I
So
guess.
check out terminallance.com, Schweiss. We got 2 questions we got to answer.
Yes, we do.
Now, forums.
Really tell who did this one.
Sometimes.
Yeah!
All right, so our first question here is from Stallis. Can you read that, or do you need to zoom it up? Sorry, once again, technical issues. Okay.
Alright, so he says, so Joe and Caleb brought up an interesting point about antagonist motives in the series. I wanted to ask all of you, what would you want to see as a motive for the antagonist in FF15 or maybe FF16 or any new FF game? He says, so far we've seen, spoilers, 1. Garland doesn't really have a motive other than he's trapped in a cycle after making it a pact with chaos. Not true, he doesn't want to die. That's his motive.
Number 2, Emperor Medius, whose motive is world domination.
True. Zandy tries to halt time to prevent his inevitable death. Cloud of Darkness attempts to restore the balance of light and darkness by flooding the world with darkness. That's probably the best one.
Number 4, Zemus attempts to destroy the inhabitants of Earth with the Giant of Babel, so himself and his fellow Lunarians could be awakened and wouldn't have to wait for humans to evolve.
Wouldn't need to just, they wouldn't need the giant statue thing, the Giant of Babel. They could just bring the moon monsters to Earth and just fucking rape and pillage. Those things are sick. Alright, so we got X-Death, merges the worlds together so we can have access to the Void, basically, bringing everything to an end. He wants to just wreck shit, and he does.
Gestalt wanted access to the Warring Triad so he could become a god of magic. And Kefka, of course, doesn't really have a clear motive other than using opportunities to further destroy as much as he can. He kind of wants to become a god, but he just kind of is nuts.
He kind of runs into it and then realizes what it is and then takes it, so it's iffy. Alright, so 7, Shinra, to find the Promised Land and create their Utopia city. Sephiroth, to fulfill his mother's, aka Genova's, motives. Use the black materia to summon Meteor, crash it into the planet, and absorb the life stream in the Promised Land, becoming a god.
Legacy to the life stream.
And he...
That needs to be a drop, by the way.
That would be a good one.
It's just the super wordy sentence talking about the live stream. That's what I'm into. Number 9, Garland tries to destroy the Terra crystal by destroying life on Gaia so that Terra's souls can be reawakened. Kuja searches for the 4 crystals to summon the Eidolon Alexander in order to kill Garland so he can rule both Terra and Gaia. Once he realizes he is mortal, he wishes to end all existence by destroying the crystal that created all life. Necron, awakened by Kuja's attempt to destroy the crystal, and wishes to bring everything back to the Zero world. Yeah, I got it.
Seymour, to become the final Aeon, so he can become Sin and bring an end to the spiral of death. Yu Yevon initially wanted to punish Bavel for the attack on Xanarkand, and became Sin. After being reborn again and again, his only intention is to destroy everything.
Ryle Grimm, in the Final Fantasy XI, once becoming the Shadow Lord, he leaves the Beast tribes to war against the Enlightened races to exact his revenge for his and Cornelia's death. Ael, the Narsh, and Kamlanut wish to open the gate to the gods.
Alright, so 12, Sid and Vana to end the Age of Stone and giving men the ability of free will from the Okiria. Vayne assists in this plan, but also wishes to kind of rule everything, so he's kind of a dick.
13, Fal'Cie, initially tasked to find Etro's gateway, but now wishes to end existence by crashing Cocoon into Pulse and bring back the Maker.
And 14, Nail Van Darnus.
Can't no.
To crush your enemies and see them driven... that's Conan's. To crash the Dalamud into Eorzea to rid it of the primals.
You know what? It'd be hard to... I do like that he put down all those motives there, though. That's a good reminder of what has happened in the series so far.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, dude.
I just kind of want someone really fucking evil. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So like
it's like a Vader.
So like a Hitler.
Wow.
like someone fucked. Okay.
Well, I want him to be super fucked up like Kefka, but have a backstory like Sephiroth. So not just a random guy that's
Sephiroth.
like, oh hey, I'm really evil. Yeah, I guess Sephiroth. But maybe something a little more real.
Well, the thing is, if they try to copy what they've already done before, what's going to happen is we're going to review the game. We're going to be like, oh yeah, they did this in this game.
Yeah,
They're just trying to make another Sephiroth.
I don't know. Well, Sephiroth's a really good villain, so.
I do want kind of the racist thing to play a part, maybe in FF16, and like someone wants to get rid of a certain race, right? And at the same time, that Empire, we'll call it, is trying to take over the countries around it, and the other countries don't like that. And maybe across the sea, some country that decided to just be neutral, maybe they just suddenly get attacked and are thrown in to this adventure, and the heroes have to...
If by neutral you mean they refuse to trade with one side but openly trade with another, then sure.
Sure.
I don't know if that's necessarily neutrality, but, I think they can do that. Officially, whatever.
Okay.
That'd be really cool. Maybe some assassinations, some...
Look, I want Final Fantasy to get dark again.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love dark games. I love dark anything. Dark media, dark turkey, just dark.
The more intense the conflict is, the better the story is going to be.
Yeah, the more real it can feel. That's what I'm excited the most about.
I don't need to put out a situation that the bad guy has to have or a motive for it. I mean, the game writers have to figure that out. But, I'm excited to see what they're going to do, and I just hope that they really just make a good bad guy.
Yeah.
Because you can make a good bad guy, and that's when the hero's going to shine.
Yeah, that's true. It makes the opposite end seem even better. I don't know. I kind of want him to be graphic, too, and just more violent. Just so that it has a real effect on you. It doesn't just seem like, oh, yeah, they're just,
They're going to keep it in the teen range no matter what.
I don't know. Maybe. Type 0 is not teen.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what everybody else responded to here real quick. Snitchel said, if he remembers right, it's crystals or something in the story for 15. If that's the case, he imagines that the grand plan of the bad guy is to catch them all and unleash Mewtwo upon the world.
Joking.
Seriously, it'll probably involve Kuja-esque plan of destroying all the kingdoms to get their shit.
Does anyone release Mewtwo upon the world? Because I just thought, okay, now I don't know anything but the movies here. So the scientists created Mewtwo, and I thought Mewtwo unleashed himself
He did, but
upon the
also
world.
in
We can't hear you, Caleb Craig. You're trying to have a conversation with me, and it's not going to work. Sorry, Caleb Craig thinks he can be part of this podcast.
He can't.
He just cannot be. I'm sorry.
You're fucking out, you hear?
I can answer these questions too.
Alright, so...
So Mewtwo
Fair
puts
enough.
himself upon the world, though, and he makes his little island, right? And he gathers all the Pokemon so he can basically show off his power and rule the world with his clones. Attack of the
sounds
Clones.
about right, yeah. Alright, so that's an interesting idea. Batman says he would love to see a scenario where you sympathize with the antagonist. Kind of what they do in Chrono Trigger. I think in 7 you have a little bit of that. Not very much, though.
A little bit.
More like Caius in FF13 too. I don't know anything about that. And Gabrant says in 13 he believes it was the Fal'Cie's task to build the l'Cie into the weapons to bring the destruction of Cocoon. It was more with Caius in 13 too. We don't know anything about that.
So he said Caius was selfish, bitter, and will resolve till the very end. But again, some points I do see where his motivation comes from.
All right, fair enough. I just want it to be... I kind of agree with you. I want a dark game. I want something that's brooding and just intense.
When was the last time we got a truly dark game?
Probably 7. Maybe 8. 8 got dark. No, 8 was just a dark...
Well, there were dark moments in a lot of the games, but I think 6 and 7 are really the ones that are dark through most of it. And those are the best games, so fuck
They
it.
are, yeah. All right, so...
10's dark, too. I mean, its color palette is not, but all the killing is dark. So, this... Which word?
Color palette.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, so we have another question here. This one's from It's Schnitzel. The topic is, what was your first video game? Ooh, shit. What is the first video game you ever owned or played? He thinks his is Super Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, Mario Paint, Super Mario All-Stars, Aladdin, and some racing game on the Super Nintendo.
That's your first video game?
That's what he's saying, yeah. He can't remember
That's like
anything,
12 games.
anything before them, and he can't honestly remember ever receiving them. Him and his brother just kind of had them one day, apparently. The first game he can specifically remember receiving is probably Pokemon Red. Great game. And his brother got Pokemon Blue. I think Blue is actually even better. And he loves how it automatically... added the accent for the E. Oh, that's cool. On the side, it added the little E, the little dash it knows.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably what got him into the video game scene. What about you guys? He asks.
We had a NES at home for a little while before my mom banned video games from the house.
Fascist.
That was when I was a little kid. I didn't get a video game console. I didn't get a Game Boy Advance until I was 15. So up until from like 7 to 15, I didn't have video games at home. I had computer games, and I played computer games a lot. And I used to play things like Carnivores, which was a hunting game, a dinosaur hunting game, which is fucking sweet. I used to play that a lot. And the Magic School Bus, the Geology Magic School Bus game, played that one a lot too. Although they weren't my first. I think on that NES there was I want to say we had Legend of Zelda and we had Super Mario Bros.
Okay.
And since I can somewhat play Super Mario Bros., I'm assuming that that's probably what I played the most. I have memories of both games, just kind of images in my head of me playing with them, and then going, this is too hard, and not worrying about it.
Okay. Fair enough.
And also, my mom didn't want me on there. Oh, wait! That's a lie.
What was first?
We had the gun for Duck Hunt. And I would play Duck Hunt constantly in Colorado. That's right. Colorado. We're talking 4 years old here. I remember playing Duck Hunt.
All right.
And my parents would tell me to go play outside.
Clearly didn't, but...
Shut up. Well, are you saying that because of my pale skin or the fact that I'm fat?
I was actually thinking fat, but pale skin works for that too.
I wasn't that fat. I wasn't fat at 4 years old.
I know, I'm sure you weren't. Alright, so Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. For me, I think it was Castlevania on the... Oh man, I want to say Super NES? And then Dr.
Super
Mario.
NES, huh?
Dr. Mario. What was Dr. Mario on? Do you remember that game?
I fucking never played Dr. Mario.
Oh, dude, it was amazing. It was like Tetris on steroids. It was so fun.
It's Tetris, but in the emergency room.
Yeah, those two games I played around the same time, and I also played Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, on my Sega Dreamcast. Or no, wait, not Dreamcast. Genesis. Jeez, they're all so similar to me, these dead consoles. But yeah, the Sega Dreamcast Genesis. Dreamcast Genesis.
There you go, the Sega Dreamcast Genesis.
It was great. I loved that console, and I would play the shit out of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a separate console for the Dr. Mario and Castlevania, but I loved the side-scroller Castlevania game. It was great. With the little whip and the candles and shit, getting health. Fantastic.
All right, well...
Let's see what everybody else has here, real quick. Gabrant says, for him, it was either Super Mario Bros., Contra, Star Tropics, some of the originals on NES. He had an Atari, but he didn't play it before the NES. Bandrum had an Intellivision, wow, which is pretty much an Atari, goofy controllers. He had this pad with buttons, and each game came with a plastic sheet.
Pitfall and Donkey Kong was on it.
Oh, I didn't realize Donkey Kong was on that.
And the first system that was officially his was the NES, and the first games on there, of course, Super Mario and Duck Hunt.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
So Ganty Rose was 3 years old, sitting in the living room with her mother. Dun, dun, dun. Playing, Zombies Ate My Neighbors on Super NES. That game is amazing.
I saw the P below, like I wasn't reading the next sentence. I saw the P, and then I saw the word zombies. And I was like, Plants vs. Zombies? How old is the forum member on here?
Yeah.
3 years old playing Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm 9.
All right.
No, have you ever played that game, that Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
No. Oh, wait. Yeah, on an emulator.
It's awesome.
Which we do not approve.
I love that game. Alright, so Sinners first was either Genesis or the original Game Boy.
First system.
And she believes it was a Sonic game on Sega, so probably similar to mine.
Okay.
And
Alright.
yeah, first game, Legend of Zelda. I'm
Night
seeing
Shadow.
Street Fighter 2. That's an oldie.
That's what Dallas is saying.
Some more Zelda.
Batman
Metroid.
says something on an Atari game.
Some Atari, yeah.
Yeah.
Mario Duck Hunt. Wow, so pretty similar stuff around the same time, I guess. Oh, except for Baindrum.
Well, there's a couple that are Atari.
Old man Baindrum there.
Old man Baindrum's not old.
Other than that, yeah, a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start, so shit.
Okay. Well, we didn't get any iTunes reviews this week, Schweiss.
Oh,
we didn't.
You know what? You're right. You guys...
Oh, fuck.
You guys know what that means.
Yeah, it means something, doesn't it, on number 15?
It means number 15.
What
Let's
does number
hear it.
15 say?
I don't remember.
What's behind number 15?
Oh, this does sound familiar.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Listen to those drums.
Oh, yeah. So you get an unskilled drummer. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this. We could use those iTunes reviews.
We definitely
Sure.
could.
It's
Oh,
true.
wow.
All right. Well, we're gonna end the episode on that high note, and just saying. Real quick, once again, you can call us. By the way, we didn't get any calls this week, but you can call us and give us a
We
question,
really enjoy it.
an intro, any message. Honestly,
Yeah, tell us to fuck ourselves.
Yeah, you can do that. 385-204-3921. 385-204-3921.
And please, please, follow us on Twitter. At UFF Podcast. Like our page on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. Subscribe to us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. Surprise, surprise. And support us on Patreon if you guys want. $1 a month, and we'll throw you the episodes early.
Another way to support us right now. If you go on our website, turn off your ad block for our website. there is a banner for Amazon. Click through the Amazon link, bookmark that as your new Amazon bookmark on your computer, and every time you buy something off of Amazon, we'll get a small kickback at no charge to you or to anyone, honestly.
Yeah, it's a great way to support us without throwing...
It just helps. It helps Amazon out, so it helps us out. So.
Right.
And also there's ads on the page. I'm not
Oh, dude, the Filipino Cupid is hilarious.
Yeah, what? I don't know why that's popping up. I like when I went through the AdSense thing, I turned off different things that I knew we shouldn't have on there, and I swear to God, That
Okay.
should not be showing.
Filipino Cupid was there, and so was Thai Cupid one day.
Or Thai Cupid.
Thai Cupid made a presence. Yeah, it was there. I didn't click on it, but I was thinking about it. But I resisted. I resisted, and
Why did
I'm
you
a better
resist?
man for it. I don't know. The
I'm
chick
not
was okay.
saying-
She was like a 6. But yeah, and you can find us on Twitch, as well, where we're live streaming all the episodes. I'm playing 14. I'm playing other games. It's twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy, and you can find all of that and more, and Filipino Cupid at ultimafinalfantasy.com, and join the forums. There,
Please, God, join the forums. I know it's like the holidays right now, so everybody's kind of busy. But if you will, please leave us like a good question for the 14 review, and give us a review for 14.
Yeah,
if you've played it before, and also your ranking. There's areas in the forum for that. Guys, don't be scared. Join our forums.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's
Yeah.
super awesome.
All right. Well, until next time. See ya.
We'll see you guys then, and enjoy the grind. Oh, yes.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGollier and Casey Twice, with music and editing by Joseph DeGollier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and we look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.
Camel dance. Camel shit.
All right, let's check the Twitch out for a few seconds here. Oh, Corpho. Man, it's been a long time.
Corophobe.
Yeah, I think he's the... I feel like you're the guy that lives in Salt Lake that used to live in Provo. I bet whatever you're listening to sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound thing. I guess you didn't look into that. We didn't have time.
It's going through the mix, so it's going into the episode, so...
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. And the computer volume's all the way up. Yeah, you're the guy that, yeah.
No, okay.
It was when I was playing 12
Alright,
or
well,
something. But fuck it, we'll figure it out for next time.
We're gonna go watch episode 3. Once again in preparation for the Star Wars that's coming out soon. So
Yeah, so we'll see you guys again
Yeah.
in like a week and a few days. Next
I have the
Saturday.
high ground, Anakin.
Yeah, thank God for that.
There's that one.
I have the high ground.
Yes, you do. Oh, you should play 14 Corphobe. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But we will talk about
12.99
that.
Great.
We will talk about that again
See ya.
in the